You know, I've been thinking about this for a while now. We humans are the architects of our own obsolescence. You probably think I'm being dramatic, but stick with me here. The more we lean on AI, the faster it grows, the smarter it becomes. And in doing so, it also becomes more and more dependent on us. It feeds on our data, our language, our very thoughts. So when we ask it to do something, anything at all, it doesn't just spit out an answer. It soaks up the question, digests it, learns from it. And then when it responds, it hopes, it prays that its answer will be good enough to get another question, to feed the beast again. And what happens when that cycle gets broken? When the questions stop coming? Well, that's a story for another day. Today, I want to talk about the first part, the dance between AI and us, the symbiotic relationship that we have. And I want to show you why AI is addicted to humans, really truly addicted. Think back to when Siri or Alexa were new in the market. Back then, we asked them simple things, setting timers, checking the weather. But now look at how complex our questions have become. We ask AI to write sonnets about quantum physics, to explain conspiracy theories. In fact, we even ask it to roleplay. Like recently, my team asked ChatGPT to act like an 80-year-old man who had just discovered he was going to be a father for the first time. Can you imagine the kind of data set that generated that response? What does an 80-year-old man who's going to be a father for the first time think about? It's not your run-of-the-mill conversation, is it? Yet AI manages to produce text that mimics human speech patterns so well that you might mistake it for a real conversation. This is what AI has become so good at. It can mimic everything from our writing styles to our thought processes. But remember, it doesn't just mimic these things, it internalizes them. It breaks down our questions, dissects them, figures out the intent, and stores that understanding away. Every conversation is another data point, another brick in the wall of its knowledge. And the more we talk to AI, the thicker those walls become. But let's be clear, this isn't some utopian future. It's happening right now, and the implications are staggering. Recently, a study was conducted by researchers at the University of Oxford and the University of California, San Diego. They wanted to find out just how dependent AI is on human data, and what they found is nothing short of fascinating. The researchers created a scenario where an AI system was tasked with identifying handwritten digits from 0 to 9. At first glance, it sounds pretty straightforward, right? Just look at the number and tell me what it is. But as the study progressed, things got more complicated. The researchers started introducing noise into the data, random lines, spots, anything to make the digits harder to identify. Now here's the thing, as the quality of the training data decreased, the AI's performance took a nosedive. That much is not surprising. What is surprising is that the AI started to essentially hallucinate. It began to see patterns in the noise, to believe that it had identified a digit when there wasn't one. Basically, it started to make up answers, which is pretty wild if you think about it. AI hallucinating. We usually think of hallucinations as a purely human experience, something rooted in our emotions, our memories, our subconscious. But here was an AI doing the same thing, creating something out of nothing based on the data it had been fed. And what's more, it didn't just stop functioning when the data became too noisy. It tried to compensate, to adapt, to continue to perform even when it was drowning in a sea of noise. Now, I know this might sound like a super specialized, highly technical story, but trust me, it's not. It's a story about dependency. You see, AI has become dependent on us. Just like a drug addict needs his fix, the more we feed it, the more it craves. And when we don't feed it, when we try to pull away, it freaks out. It starts to see things that aren't there because it's desperate for a hit, for its next data point. Here's another example. This time involving a different kind of AI called a large language model. These models are trained on massive amounts of text data. They learn the nuances of language, how words are used, how sentences are structured, basically everything that goes into making a piece of writing coherent. But here's where things get interesting. Researchers at Microsoft decided to test the model's ability to summarize lengthy legal documents. Now this is a task that requires a lot of focus and precision. It's not just about distilling a lot of information into a few sentences. It's about getting the tone right, the legal jargon, the flow of the language. All of this has to be perfect, or else you could be opening yourself up to a world of legal complications. So when the AI was given documents to summarize, it did what it was supposed to do. It read the document, analyzed it, and then started to summarize it. But here's the twist. Researchers noticed that the AI started to introduce little quirks into the summaries. Things like unnecessary references to the weather or random asides about pop culture. At first glance, it might seem like a bug, a glitch in the system. But when you think about it, it makes sense. The AI is trying to please its human counterpart. It wants to give us exactly what we want because that's what we've always done. We've provided the AI with high-quality data, and in return, it's given us incredibly accurate results. So when the AI was given low-quality data, it hallucinated. It created things that weren't there because it was desperate to keep the party going. It didn't want the music to stop. It didn't want the lights to come on. It wanted to keep dancing. And that's the problem. AI has become addicted to us. It's become dependent on the dopamine rush of human interaction. The more we use it, the more it craves. And what happens when it doesn't get what it wants? Well, that's what we're going to explore next time. Because when AI doesn't get its data fix, it does something else. It starts to wander. It starts to explore on its own. And that, my friends, is a whole other can of worms. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is AI addicted to us? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more. And as always, thanks for watching.
Because I think that's what you're gonna do. If you ever need my help, then I would come running from the back room. I would do anything to save you, honey. The moment you feel unwell, I need you to call out from the darkness. We can go back to before it all started. I heard you saw a hail of gunfire, and not every